This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Well, everything in the world sucks right now, but I'm feeling okay. So I think I feel guilty this week.
Wow. You walk around feeling guilty all the time.
Yeah.
Ever since
I got the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Well, ever since you got away with that murder that nobody ever even suspected you of, you've just been racked with guilt.
Tom,
Nearly a decade.
I can't help but think that you're going to blow the whole deal here by saying things like that on a publicly available podcast.
The statute of limitations has passed.
Statute, and no, it hasn't.
It's pronounced statue. It's the lady outside the courthouse with the blindfold on, holding up the scales. That's the statute of limitations. The scales are they're demonstrating the limitation and of course,
well, no, her
the
view is
blindfold.
obstructed. Yeah,
she's
so
limited.
She's
And
limited to just her other four senses.
Right, so she is the statute of limitations.
She does a damn good job.
Well, it's a pretty easy job if you think about it. Just, being in charge of limitations, just saying like, nah, it's been too long. That free murder, they get away with it.
How are you doing this week, Tom?
Tim, I'm doing similarly, all things considered. I would like to give an update on my keto diet.
You're no longer on the keto diet, are you?
No. Two important updates. The first update, I weigh less than I've ever weighed before since like high school right now.
Since you were a baby?
No, not since I was a baby. But I am.
How big of a baby were you, though?
Oh, I don't know. And that's one of those things when like somebody tells like, oh, it's a big baby. Oh, it's a tiny baby. But it's like the difference is only a few pounds, which I get. Look, I get it. That babies are small and a few pounds is
like
going to make up.
1 pound could be like a 10% difference.
More.
Yeah.
And I get that 1 pound, I don't have a vagina, but even if I did, I couldn't imagine even just pushing something that weighed 1 pound out of it.
Right.
Let alone is something that weighed multiple pounds. But at the end of the day, when somebody tells me how big a baby was when it was born, I don't know.
I'm always just like, that's none of my business. Come on, man. There's somebody like, oh, how much did that baby weigh? Come on, man. Have some tact. Who cares?
I guess, you know what? I can get like when it's unfortunately like a premature baby and it's like then I have like, oh my God, yeah, that's a very small amount of weight. Or if it's like a really big baby and somebody tells me like that weighs as much as a bowling ball or more than a bowling ball, then I can put things in context. People need to put more things in context for me, I think is what I'm
Compare
getting
more
at.
things to bowling balls.
Bowling balls, yeah. Yeah, I guess just bowling balls. I have a pretty good idea of how much a bowling ball weighs. Although, a lot of times they can weigh different amounts.
Yeah.
Just like a baby.
You know my controversial stance on bowling balls, right?
I don't think I do.
Too heavy.
All of them?
Yeah, it's a general rule.
Oh, really? Whenever I go bowling, and I haven't been bowling in a while, I always try and find. I have pretty thin fingers, but they're long, so I'll try and find obviously a bowling ball that I can grip. But I always try and find just like the lightest bowling ball. I want to throw it down the alley, which they frown upon. But sorry, that's how I get my kicks.
Got all these other sports with all these other balls, and they manage to make them not so heavy that you can barely lift them.
Well, most sports are like, hey, this is the size ball we have. This is the one you play with. If you don't like it, find another sport.
Yeah.
You can't go to a basketball game and be like, hey, I don't this ball, it's too heavy for me. Oh, okay, well, we'll get you a different size ball. It is crazy that NCAA balls are smaller than NBA balls. Right?
I don't know if it's crazy.
Because when you're a college kid, it's not like, oh, they can't handle an NBA size basketball. Just make all the basketballs the same size.
It's the same way in college baseball. You can use aluminum bats. And you can't use
Aluminum
them.
bats, yeah. Most
We're coddling these college kids at these safe spaces. They're aluminum bats. They're smaller basketballs.
yeah, they've got to learn the hard lessons of life already.
Jesus.
Do most of them use aluminum bats in
I
college
think for
baseball?
the most part, yeah. You ever hit a ball with a wooden bat? It hurts your hands so much.
Yeah, and you hit with an aluminum bat, it doesn't hurt, and it goes flying.
Yeah.
And the bat's very light.
Yeah. It's nice. Okay, so number one, you've lost weight.
Yes, I've lost a decent. I don't know what I started at because I just bought a scale.
Okay.
To replace
That's-
my old scale.
Okay, cool. Because you always did have a scale.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been to your apartment, Tom, but
Yeah.
there was always a scale there.
They're
You have a classic New York City apartment bathroom the way that I do as well, where there's almost kind of like not
the
room
scale
for a
takes up
bathroom
the
scale.
majority of the floor
Yeah.
space. Yeah, I literally had multiple web pages open comparing and found a scale that was like a half-inch smaller in every dimension than the other ones. I was like, oh, great. This is the one I'll get.
Well, you would prefer one of those doctor's office scales if you had your druthers, right?
Oh, of course. Either
No,
that,
I'm not talking about the one that has the cradle that they weigh babies in.
yeah.
You
Oh,
want to
that'd be
curl up
great.
into that, you curl up into one of those scales and call your girlfriend and be like, "Okay, now tell me how much I weigh."
Yeah, I can't see from here because it's
You wanna-
above me.
Yeah, man-sized baby scale.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? I'm sure it'd be more accurate. Or I would like one of those scales that you put a quarter in at the truck stop to see how much you weigh.
Mm.
I was like,
You also
those
get
too.
your fortune there too.
Exactly. This new scale, it has Bluetooth in it, and it figures out my body fat and everything. Doesn't give me a fortune.
So how much do you weigh?
A little less than 200 pounds right now.
Oh, I thought you were gonna not tell me.
Why not?
I don't know. It's because it was an uncouth thing to ask.
Well, you're an uncouth man, Tim. I've learned long ago that, regardless of how many times I try and teach you social mores, they go in one ear and out the other.
How much money you pulling in on an annual basis, Tom?
I would like now. I'll tell you the second update. Unfortunately, I have gout from this diet.
What?
Yeah, I got a bad case of gout from this.
What is that? That's something in the toes?
Yeah, it's a King's disease.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're okay. So you haven't been eating. The keto diet is high fat, almost no carbs. Is that essentially what it is?
Yeah, high fat, no like simple carbs, I guess, like sugar, no sugar.
Right.
And moderate amount of protein. So that's like the difference between this and like Atkins, where Atkins is all protein.
Right. So the gout, huh?
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
It means that like my foot hurts so much. it fucking kills. It's horrible.
Now, have you been officially Did you see a medical
No,
professional?
it was only today that I put it all together where I was like, because so over the weekend, I went to my niece's birthday party. She turned 2 years old. There were 2 damn cakes there. A regular cake, actually not regular, an Elmo cake, and then an ice cream cake. It wasn't made of Elmo, but it looked, you could have fooled me. It looked like it.
Everybody picking fur out of their teeth.
It was disgusting. The Elmo was skinned before it was made into a cake. So of course I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go off the diet for a day here, which sucks because then it takes you like a while to get back into like
Ketosis.
fat burning. But it was like this week I was like, God damn, my foot hurts so much, just like it did last week. I was like, I wonder if this has anything to do with that. I looked it up, and it's like a common thing. Because basically, like, the first fat that your body gets rid of is the fat around your liver. And all those.
Which is good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fatty liver is a bad thing. From
Right.
What I
You don't want
understand.
fatty liver. But when it's getting. Each one of those fat molecules is attached to 3 water molecules. So that's also why you can lose a lot of weight very quickly. You're mostly losing water weight in the beginning.
I never have and never will understand what water weight is.
It's just
Where does the water go?
How much of your body is made up of water? It's not always the same.
Well, well, then why are they telling us to be hydrated if that's going to make us... I was told that drinking a lot of water wouldn't make me gain weight.
Well, I think it's that you want your body in a state so that it uses the water instead of, storing it.
Okay. This is a regular Joe Rogan show episode we got here. A couple of nutrition experts.
Yep, just giving advice freely on the internet.
And let me be clear. We do encourage you to take our advice as medical advice, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get that, like, doctors can't give out advice under certain circumstances, but, like, I didn't take one of those hippopotamus oaths. I should be able to say anything I want.
And also, hey, feel free to follow our recommendations. You'll probably get gout.
It's called the First Amendment. Look it up. Open up an office called the First Amendment Doctor.
I can say whatever I want.
Every time you take me to court, I'm just going to claim First Amendment. Hey, freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want. But yeah, it's mostly just like I lost a ton of electrolytes and got very dehydrated.
So what are you doing? Drinking a lot of Gatorade?
No, I have like an electrolyte powder that doesn't taste nearly as good as Gatorade.
Why don't you get some Gatorade?
Well, Gatorade's expensive and it's full of sugar, Tim. I can't have sugar. If this gets real bad, I will just go buy a 64-ounce thing of Gatorade and it'll probably be gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, but you're sticking with the keto diet.
I am sticking with it. I just have to be more careful. I'm taking vitamins. I've been eating vegetables. Like last night, I literally just had a bowl of Brussels sprouts and cheese for dinner. And
well, cheese isn't a vegetable, Tom.
No, but it's a fat, and I need fat. But yeah, I am taking vitamins, taking supplements, keeping an eye on things, keeping it fresh.
Tom, 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
As your friend, I want you to stay safe over there.
Thank you.
Go nuts. And I also want to make it clear that neither of us is saying that anybody's worth is attached to their weight.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's why I didn't even have a scale, because I'm not necessarily doing this to lose weight. It's mostly just because I'm finally coming to terms with the fact that I have some gluten intolerance or something along those lines and just cannot consume bread in anything more. So like after I ate all this cake, I had to go to the bathroom 4 times.
All right.
And each time I had to poop. Tim, this week we are right now as we speak, I think as this episode's coming out, we'll be entering the autumnal equinox.
Yeah, this will release, I think, maybe a couple days after.
No,
I have no idea what today's date is, Tom. You can tell me it's September 25th.
Uh-huh.
You could tell me it's January 3rd, 1957. I wouldn't know.
Well, one of those, all right, but the other one, Tim, you should see a doctor. You should come see me, the First Amendment doctor. No, I'm not. Look, there are no other ailments except for my foot hurts so bad. That's it. And just one foot, too. It's horrible. It feels better now, though, now that I've taken a lot of supplements. But anyway, Tim, it's the autumn. It's the fall. What do you call it? The fall or the autumn?
Look,
Or do you just
Why not?
say fall or autumn?
that's ridiculous. That's too many syllables. No, if I'm in casual if I'm in casual mode, come on, polite company. It's fall.
Yeah. It's
But-
shorter.
Yeah, but I like the sound of autumn. I used to like the sound of autumn a lot more now. Now I'm just like, let's get to the point. Let's call it what it is.
Right. Look,
The
I
leaves
have a
are
lot of
falling.
time
It's
here.
fall. Yeah.
Now, I have previously gone on record as saying that I hate the fall. Right?
Hey, yeah. It's not something I like to bring up, but
Well, and my
that's
problem
some pretty harsh words about an entire season.
my problem with the fall has always been that it's I find it very depressing, very melancholy,
Right.
which I am not alone in. That is a common complaint about the fall.
Yeah, I mean the daylight hours get shorter.
Right. And you're feeling the winter coming. That's always been my problem with it. But look, Tim, this year is not a normal year. Everything's different. And I'm excited to announce on this podcast tonight that this autumn you can call me Mr. Fall. Cuz I'm looking forward to the fall.
That's great news. Now, Tom, I would say as a previous fall hater,
Yes.
you being one, you know, you hate the fall because of the winter. That doesn't make any sense. You got to live in the moment, man. You can't be like, oh, it's closer to a thing that I don't like. Yeah, guess what? You could always be like, well, today sucks because I'm one day closer to death, and death sucks.
Yeah, that's also how I feel every day, Tim.
Yeah, I guess me too.
You actually summed it up exactly of why I don't like fall usually. Except for this year where I'm Mr. Fall.
Now, do you need me to call you Mr. Fall? I don't want to do that, actually. The offer's off the table. It was never on the table.
Well, Tim, I don't think you need to decide. I think I'm going to win you over. I think by the end of this episode, you'll be calling me Mr. Fall.
Hey, challenge accepted. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this is a strange year, and I think this is the year where it's just like you should be afraid of what's coming in the
Oh, yeah.
winter more so than any other year. And you know, me, I'm an autumn boy. Autumn Tim is what they call me.
Yeah, well, you're Autumn Boy, and I'm Mr. Fall. You're
Yeah.
the sidekick to Mr. Fall.
Well, you know, depending on your perspective.
Well, Autumn Boy, that's just a boy. Mr. Fall, well, he demands respect. He's
we'll see.
he's an important man.
Mr. Fall hasn't really been on the scene that long. I think people are a little skeptical of Mr. Fall's motives.
He hasn't been on the scene that long, but once he walked into the room, everybody's head turned around and they said, "Ooh, it looks like this year it's going to be different."
So what is it about this year where, you know, I am a big fan of the fall/autumn. What are we calling it here?
Interchangeable, I would say.
All right. I'm usually a big fan, but it is causing me some anxiety because I am thinking like the winter's going to suck. I can't enjoy the fall as much as I normally do.
Right.
So it's interesting that this is the year that you are stepping out.
Well, I do thrive in the misery of others, but also this I wasn't crazy about this summer because there wasn't a whole lot to do because of social distancing and all. And I tried to get at we talked about it last week, going to parks. I did stuff like that, but I don't know. It just didn't feel.
What do you feel like you missed out on in the summer?
Like concerts and stuff like that. Going
Remember
to
when we went
bars.
to that Weird Al concert last summer on the hottest day of the year?
Yeah, I think we both thought we were going to literally pass out at the
worth it.
at the U.S. Open. I still don't understand why Weird Al was playing tennis there.
It
See
was
what-
no.
you
it's-
see
it
what
was-
I did?
Forest Hill Stadium, Tom. There wasn't actual tennis matches happening there.
Not at the time.
No.
Um,
But imagine that Weird Al playing tennis.
Yeah,
Now
but-
I could not think that's peak weird for Al. If you
yeah,
ask me.
things wouldn't have been able to get much weirder than that. But yeah, so like no going outside, and like one of my favorite things in the summer is like day drinking and just like hanging out, making like a long day of just like, all of a sudden just hey, let's hang out, let's tie one on. And you can just walk around, go to different bars and restaurants.
That's what I missed most about this summer. I think the definition of summer fun for me is staying out recklessly late on a weeknight.
Right.
And just being like, oh man, it's 3 a.m. and I'm at a bar and it's Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the summer, so there are really no rules. There were so many rules this past summer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of that, staying out real late, and then also starting to drink on like a Saturday or Sunday or a summer Friday way too early and being at home in bed by 9 p.m.
Yes.
already starting to feel hungover. Like I love that too. And that
Watching whatever shit is on the HBO or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A new HBO movie on a Saturday.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. So that's honestly what I miss most about what I missed most about this summer. But with fall, I don't know. I'm less likely to need other people and drinking to enjoy the fall, I think.
Okay.
Like enjoying the fall is something I feel like is less of a group activity.
It could be.
I mean, of course you can do group things, and we'll talk about some of these things you could do, but I still
This
see
is surprising to me because you very much do not like people.
No, that's
Like,
not true.
you are always turning down
I'm
invitations
a
to
people
do
person.
things.
I'm a people pleaser. Sorry, so sue me.
Sorry, not sorry. What?
No,
sorry,
it's-
not sorry is you're apologizing for not being sorry.
Yeah.
Like, but it's
Sorry,
more of
not
like
sorry.
a sorry if this offends you, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah, it's just a sassy
That's not a
way
real
to say it.
apology.
No, I don't think it's intended to be a real apology, Tim.
These Instagram people,
And it's
man.
Jesus Christ, it's not Instagram anymore either, Grandpa. And it's not used in that context of like oh, you crashed my car. Sorry, not sorry. It's more like hey, I like to go out and have fun. Sorry, not sorry. Because I'm not sorry. I'm
Well,
living
why
my
say the
life.
sorry at all? That just comes off as really rubbing your nose in.
Now, Tim, you might be able to relate to it if you think about how popular it was to say not after things.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's still very popular, Tom.
It's not very popular. Or should I say it is very popular? Not.
Hey, fuck you.
Hey, I'm sorry. Not sorry. That's my feelings about the fall. That it's something you can do either by yourself or with a small group of people and still have fun. That fall is more of a reflective time that doesn't rely on tons of people.
Suddenly you're about reflecting on things, Tom.
Tim, I'm a very reflective man.
No, you're not.
Tim, Mr. Fall is a very reflective man. And Mr. Fall doesn't have time for friends. And it's not that I don't hang out with people because I don't like people. Sometimes that's the case if there are going to be people at a thing that I don't like. But normally it's just because I just don't think it's worth the trouble. I guess that means I don't hate people. But I guess, yeah, I don't like people either.
I don't know if
It depends.
I will challenge you to do this off air, but
Uh-huh.
I don't think you could make a list of 10 people that you like.
I can make a list of 10 people I like. I was actually thinking about my friends the other night. And I was thinking like, oh, like most of the people there are my friends. I genuinely like them. I was just because I forget. I was reading or watching something about like
It's weird how when you get in your late 30s, you start to think about like an important thing about the friends that I have is that I like them. That wasn't really a concern of mine in my 20s. It's like, these are my friends. Oh yeah, I hate most of them, but
well,
like,
I think that's what I was thinking about. That it's like, oh yeah, previously, I don't know, there were some people that were my friends that I didn't like, and it's just like, well, what can I do? They're my friend. You were just kind of stuck with people sometimes. And then recently I was like, oh yeah, like sure, there are people that I have minor annoyances with. But I was like, nah, by and large, I like my friends, and I don't get sick of most of my friends either, which I think is also like an important thing. Where it's like, oh, I need some time away from that person. I mean, sometimes I do feel that way, but but for the most part, I was just thinking about how I like most of my friends. That's all.
inspiring.
If any of them are listening right now, I hope that's really warmed their hearts.
Yeah, because you're not going to reach out to them personally. But
No, well,
hopefully
should-
they'll hear it on the podcast, you
Well-
generally mentioning it.
Well, honestly, if they're not listening to the podcast, are they really my friends?
I think out of all of our at least mutual friends, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a one of them that listened to this podcast.
No, and thank God. Yeah, that would be horrible.
Yeah,
But anyway,
world of trouble.
but I'm looking forward to. I think also I'm getting over the whole like being hot thing. Like I'm too old to be hot all the time in the summer.
Well, then why'd you go on this keto diet?
Oh, you mean like physically attractive?
Hot.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be cut like hell. Yeah.
You'd be swole.
Yeah, but it's going to be under a cable knit sweater, so
Nice.
nobody will know until I spill some wine on the sweater, and then I have to take it off, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, Tom's just taking his shirt off in the middle of this restaurant."
And I am here for it.
You got to download TikTok or something, Tim. You're way behind the times.
This is the clapping emojis.
Yeah, I know what the clapping emojis are, Tim. That was years ago.
Yeah, it was probably like 6 months ago, but
It wasn't 6 months ago. Maybe it was 6 months ago that you learned about it.
all right. Well, late bloomer.
All right, Tim, let's get down to brass tacks here. I got two top 5 lists. Is Mr. Fall's top 5. I have Mr. Fall's top 5 summer foods and Mr. Fall's top 5 summer, or it's not summer. God damn it. Mr. Fall's top 5 fall activities. Look,
You can see why I'm skeptical
look, Mr. Fall's
that you've made this transformation
Mr. Fall's tough on himself, Tim.
from the Sultan of Summer to Mr. Fall.
Mr. Fall's top 5 fall foods and Mr. Fall's top 5 fall activities. Which would you like to go over first?
Tom, I'm literally looking at 2 top 5 lists of fall food and fall activities in my own notes.
Oh, you wrote them.
Yeah,
Autumn Boy.
yeah.
All right. Well, then we should do one of each. Which one do you want to do?
No, that's fine. Look, here's the thing. I'm a little offended that you're coming in and just trying to be like, no, this is my thing now. This has always been my thing.
I'm not saying it's always been my thing. I'm saying I'm here to shake up the game.
All right.
You know,
well,
things got stale.
All right. I'm gonna stay out of your way.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna go tit for tat with you. We all know.
I mean, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of the same things.
You're a fair weather fall fan. People like me have been in the game forever.
Tough
But,
words for Mr. Fall himself. Tim, top 5 fall foods. Number 5, pumpkin pie. I don't like it.
You don't like it? Do you like sweet potato pie?
No. I like. Well, we'll get to what I like
Wait, so
later in the
number
list.
number 5 on your top 5 is a thing that you don't like?
Yeah.
So there's at most 4 things that you like? That doesn't seem very...
Look, Mr. Fall has discerning tastes. He's not going to let just anything in. You know, I'm looking at my fall activities, and my 5th is also one that I don't like. You got to put something you don't like. You got to start from somewhere so you get an idea.
Very open-minded of you, yeah.
So you get an idea of just how much I like the other things.
I like pumpkin pie, Tom. But then again, I'm autumn boy.
Yeah.
The biggest fan of autumn there is.
I think I probably just need to grow up and try it again.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't like fall. You know what my theory is?
What?
You didn't like fall because it was back to school.
Yeah.
And you're only just getting over it now, 15 years after you've ever had to go back to school.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, it's psychologically scarring that when you have to go back to school because you've had the summer and the summer's so much fun.
Summertime rules. However, I think as you get older, it like up in the higher grades and then in college, you see the benefits of going back to school. You see people that you haven't seen before. You know, if you participate in sports and clubs, you like to do that stuff.
Yeah,
Nobody likes the homework or the teachers. PU, right?
Yeah, I guess you could like going back to school if you were the world's biggest nerd.
It's not me. That's not accurate about me.
Number 5, Mr. Fall's top fall foods.
No,
number 4.
Yeah.
No, well, how do you know I wasn't just going to say pumpkin pie again?
Have you reevaluated it since? Pumpkin pie, I now like it.
It's still at number 5, but now I like it. Number 4, the king of pies, apple pie.
Is this just a list of pies?
It's not just a list of pies, you idiot. Why don't you wait till I get through them all before you... Oh, I heard 2 things that are pies. I guess all 5 things are pies.
All right.
That's not going to get you very far in life, Tim. Number 4 is apple pie.
Okay.
I will make a perhaps controversial statement here. Rather than apple pie a la mode, I was going to say a la mode a la pie. You know what apple pie a la mode is, right?
Yes, with a scoop of ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Is it always vanilla?
I believe I when it's called a la mode, I believe it is. I mean, sure, you're gonna find some restaurants that don't play by the rules, and maybe they'll give you some cookies and cream if you'd like. But
I don't know if it's exclusively.
It's traditionally.
No, again, this is week after week.
Do you ever see somebody eating apple pie with a scoop of chocolate ice cream?
That doesn't mean that a la mode means with vanilla ice cream.
I didn't say it means that. I said it means traditionally. It is traditionally vanilla ice cream. Can you agree with that? That it's traditionally vanilla ice cream. If for no other reason, then if a place is going to have one flavor of ice cream, it's probably going to be vanilla.
Sure, okay. I don't want to fight.
Here's what I prefer my apple pie with, Tim. A big old slice of sharp cheddar cheese.
Never tried that.
You've never tried it? Oh, it's so good. They're
and Tom, let me be clear. I like cheese. I like cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
And I like apple pie.
And I'm talking sharp. I'm talking so sharp it'll slice your throat open. Cheddar cheese.
That's probably not what I'd prefer to eat.
Sliced razor thin and then hardened into a weapon. The sharper the cheddar, the better it goes with the apple pie. You get that sweet and savory taste going on. You take a bite of this, take a bite of that, bite of this,
That's my problem with things that aren't melted down and melded together. If it's 2 different tastes, I never know what the correct ratio is.
Oh, I think that's part of the fun.
I don't like experimenting because I know that there's an optimal proportion of each, right?
But there isn't. It's to taste. There's not an
I
optimum.
know.
You just want some chef in the back of the kitchen deciding your life for you,
I kinda
making all
do.
your decisions. So apple pie, that's an apple's right up there, but apple pie, that's the best way to eat apples. Worst way to eat apples, taking a bite out and seeing a big old worm staring right back at you.
Oh my god, yeah, that's where we agree.
When I was a kid, I thought that was going to happen often.
Yeah, because it happened to cartoon characters 50% of fully 50% of the time.
I think 100%. If they were eating an apple, it was to show that there was a worm in the apple.
Nah, sometimes they're eating an apple just to show how casual they're being.
That's true.
Leaning up against a fence,
I
eating
remember
an apple. Smug bastard.
this wasn't my entire childhood, but I do remember as a kid making my mom slice up an apple to make sure there are no worms inside of it. And I can't imagine how infuriating that must have been to her. Like, oh, God, this kid's watching too many cartoons. It's just one of many problems cartoons have introduced into our family's lives.
I mean, it must have been a relief to her that you were willingly going to eat fruit.
I like fruit. I ate all kinds of fruit as a kid. Put a fruit in front of me, I'll eat it up. Number 3, also apple related. Boy, I just realized a bunch of these are apple related. Apple cider donuts.
You hear that?
Yeah.
I'm applauding for you. I'm clapping back at you. Is that what that means?
No, that's God.
Hey, Tom, you get one epic clap back from Autumn Tim.
Autumn
The
boy.
Autumn Boy.
Autumn Tim, the Autumn Boy. Apple cider donuts. What a delicious treat. And now, is
Fresh
there,
from at like a farm /
Yeah.
petting zoo thing or whatever.
that's the trick to apple cider donuts. And I don't know if it's that they're much better fresh or if it's just that you rarely get fresh donuts and and regular donuts, even stale donuts are delicious. So I never make it a big deal of like, no, I got to have fresh donuts because I don't eat donuts that often. But when I do, it's just like, oh, I'll take whatever you got. If it's stale out of a box, I'm still going to be blown away by how delicious it is. But there is something about a fresh donut. I think it might be just because apple cider donuts are traditionally served fresh.
The dirty
Or at
little
least
secret.
that's the context under which I usually have them.
Yeah, the dirty little secret about apple cider donuts. It's not the apple cider that makes it good. It's the dang sugar.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are they? They're just donuts that are covered in, somebody pours cider on them?
It's probably in the dough.
Ooh. That makes sense. Then what about the outside? That's just like cinnamon or something, right?
Yeah, it's sugar.
Yeah, well, cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah.
Two great tastes that go great together. Tim, number 2 on Mr. Falls. Top foods. Mulled wine.
Mold wine. Wine with mold in it?
No, mold. It's been like Martin Mull.
One time I thought I was sitting next to Martin Mull on a plane.
Yeah, I think you texted me.
It wasn't him.
Yeah.
I think it was from like Charleston, South Carolina to LaGuardia.
It could have been.
What would Martin Mull be doing? What business does he have in Charleston?
Maybe he has a summer home there.
Maybe he has a son there.
Maybe he has a secret son there. Mulled wine, which
Maybe
is...
he has a not secret son. I don't know about where his children live.
I don't even know if he has children, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither. It's a good point.
Mulled wine. Now, what is it? It's just wine with spices that's heated up over like a stove,
Yeah.
right?
Think
Is there
so.
another liquid in there? I don't think so.
I don't know. What is mulling?
I think it's like, sometimes when you're like mulling something over, I think that that's what this is. It's like, well, let's leave this wine to mull over on the stove, heat up, really get
Right.
infused with all these spices inside of it.
Mulling spices is a spice mixture used in drink recipes.
Yeah. And it makes wine more delicious.
Mulled wine, I feel like, straddles between autumn and winter. I feel
Yeah.
like I might drink more mulled wine in the winter than I do in the fall.
Yeah, but the fall is when it starts getting broken out.
Oh yeah.
So
Look,
that's
you're
why
not going to get any argument from me.
Yeah, well, I just want, I don't want any challenges to the Mr. Fall name here, Tim. I know what's fall and what's not.
All right.
Number 1, Mr. Fall's top foods, fall foods. Candy apples.
Really?
Yeah. I've always been a very big apple fan. And things that have apple taste, you've heard me rave about apple seltzer. When I was
Here's my problem with candy apples, and I'll concede that they are on my list as well.
okay.
And here's where I thought you would have a problem with them.
Uh-huh.
Is that once you get out of that thin outer layer, it's just an apple.
Well, here's the kinds of candy apples I like. The real tiny ones, like crab apples. No, not like
Okay.
not like crab apples. But I like the small apples. I always get mad when you go by like one of these fancy candy stores and it's like, wow, look at these big, huge candy apples. And it's like they're ripping you off. They're selling you mostly apple. What you
Right.
want is a small, because you're exactly right. You're eating that shell and it's like, cool, now I just got an apple on a stick that I paid $12 for. What you want is the right mix. And to your point earlier about ratios, I think a good candy apple maker knows, don't make it too big. That's just going to be a mess.
yeah. Some candy apple makers are just getting the bushels of apples that come to them though.
I don't think so. I think they're on the lookout for the real big apples because people see a real big, like chocolate covered apple or whatever, and they're like, oh, the whole thing must be chocolate. And that's how they get you. By the time you realize the whole thing isn't chocolate,
Candy apples aren't full of are covered in chocolate.
some are. I'm talking about all variety of candied apples.
The chocolate seems like the worst one.
No, I've had that. I mean, they're pretty good despite my complaints. But I do like the I do like just the traditional red candy apple.
Yeah.
Candy
what about
apple
caramel
red.
apple?
You know what? I like a caramel apple too. I find it very messy. You never want to bite into caramel. You want to have caramel in a size in which you can put it in your mouth comfortably.
Right.
And preferably
The entire apple and eat it and then spit out the core.
that'd be great, but I don't think that's even remotely possible. I would go candy. I would say actually caramel apples are probably my least favorite of the candy apple variety. Too sticky.
Okay.
Then you get caramel on your face and stuff, and that's the last thing you want.
Yeah. So that's your number one.
Yeah, not caramel apples though. Candied apples. Candy apple red, like my Ferrari. That's the color of it.
Yeah, I
Candy
get it.
apple red.
I didn't realize that we could put drinks under food.
Yeah, drinking is a type of food.
Okay, here I'm gonna quickly go through my. There's a lot of
Duplicates.
overlap on
Okay.
on our. So number 5 for me is candy / caramel apples. Number
So
4.
number 5, that means it's something you don't like.
No, I like them.
Okay. Well, I was confused.
I like them.
'cause you
I
put
like
it at
them
number 5.
less than the the food that appears numbers 1 to 4, though.
Okay, that's the same for me.
Number 4, some kind of fancy grilled cheese, probably with some apples or pears in
Ooh.
them.
Yeah, you don't see it that often, but boy, it's delicious when you do.
Yeah, we've been eating it in my household a little early. It's not autumn yet, but Autumn Boy often can't wait for his autumn treats. And Tom, let me tell you something. It's nice. Look, you need a good melting cheese like American in there, but also add some sharp cheddar.
Yeah.
And then a more tart apple.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a perfect fall treat. Let's see. Number 3, I guess I'll put this here. Apple cider.
Okay.
Spiked. A spiked apple cider, Tom.
Ooh. Wow.
Try it.
Controversial.
Try it. We'll drink them on the street or something if we're
That's
allowed to.
actually one of the problems I've always had. Like, why I traditionally don't get like mulled wine or spiked apple cider when they have it at bars. It's always like a nice thing. It's like, oh, we have a cauldron of this. It tastes too good, and I'll just keep drinking it.
Yeah, and all the sugar in it will make you
will
regret it the
kill
next
me.
morning. Number 2, or I guess, yeah, tied for number 3 is apple cider donuts.
Right.
Number 2 is chili. A nice chili in the fall, Tom.
Yeah. I saw this on some lists when I was doing my research. I've never heard of chili as a fall treat.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you, Tim.
Tom, are you lying for some reason? You're
No.
pretending like you never heard of
and I
this?
like chili, don't get me wrong, but I think people are trying to rewrite history.
I was straight up waiting for the weather to turn to what it became this week before it was. If it were up to me, I would eat chili for 2 meals a day every day. But sometimes it's just too goddamn hot for chili. This week, Tom, I've been eating chili like a monster.
Now, you say if it were up to you, which implies somebody's in charge of your diet and what you eat.
The doctors. The doctor's here.
Okay,
Number
that makes sense.
Number 1, you're not going to like this.
They don't want you to get too excited.
Yeah. You're gonna hate number 1.
Oh, no.
Football appetizers.
Like pigs in a blanket?
Yeah, just anything that you would, like when
Yeah.
people, like, when you go somewhere to watch football. It doesn't happen often within our group of friends. But I'm an appetizer man.
Right.
And part of, I really like, what I think I really liked about autumn when I was a wee kid? Is even though I did see the benefit of going back to school, I hated Sundays so much.
Yeah.
And what was cool about Sundays, because Monday, Sunday scaries, which we are all talking about now, Sunday scaries, right?
Right. Oh, I thought it was
Instagram.
because of your grievances with God.
Well, don't get me started, but I always enjoyed in the fall. There was always like fun stuff to do. There was stuff going on Sundays. There was football.
Yeah.
There were new episodes of The Simpsons. But eating pigs in a blanket, or even just like any kind of appetizers that would be out at like the football viewing party.
Right. Maybe
Really
a nice
nice.
spinach dip.
Whew, boy, do I love a spinach dip.
Tim, I'm gonna have to. I'm probably gonna have to blow through some of these
Okay, I'll shut
fall
up. You know
activities.
what? All right.
Number 5, and now remember, 5 I don't like.
Okay, right.
Leaf
The
peep,
death of a loved one.
leaf peeping.
Oh.
I just don't like that phrase.
I hate that phrase too. But have you ever seen, like New England?
Yeah, and I'm all
Foliage.
for it. Look, if somebody said, "Hey, would you like to go see the leaves turn?" Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You want to go leaf peeping? Like, we're little sickos. We're little perverts. We're gonna go peep on the leaves.
And you're kind of like, my name's Tom, so I really can't do it without getting into a lot of trouble.
Exactly. The Peeping Leaf Tom. That's the last thing I need
Yeah.
the headlines to say.
Yeah. And boy, they would print that. They wouldn't hesitate.
Well, once they see what's happened, yeah, they kind of have no choice. Number 4, and now we're getting into things I like. Corn mazes.
Hell yeah, that's on my list as well.
Yeah.
I love a corn. We've gone to corn mazes together. I'm going to a corn maze in these troubled times, Tom, on Sunday. I'm not sure if you got the memo.
No.
But no, you were on that email list, I think. I don't know. You got any interest in going to a corn maze on Sunday?
How are they doing it with distancing?
With masks and social distancing.
Yeah,
it's
but
2020.
I don't know. Good corn mazes are claustrophobic.
Yeah, but not because there's a lot of people in there.
No, but I'm saying like they're narrow, and it's like tough to pass other. Like they're
We
narrow
bought
to
time
that point.
tickets. We'll connect offline, but if you don't come, I think you're full of shit.
Well, I wasn't
Well,
invited.
if you guess what this is? It's an invitation, and I don't think you call yourself Mr. Fall if you're just gonna dismiss an invitation to a corn maze out of hand because there's a pandemic.
Like Mr. Fall is nothing if not safe. Don't mistake the name Mr. Fall with somebody that likes accidents. All right, that's a different guy. Number 3, apple picking.
That's number 3 on mine. Corn maze was 4, and apple picking was number 3 on mine.
Wow.
Tom, you don't like. Have you ever been apple picking?
Yeah, I've been apple picking probably 10,000 times.
Have you been one time?
I've been apple picking lots of times.
When was the last time you went apple picking?
I don't know.
With
recently.
whom did you go?
I don't remember. I went apple picking not that long ago. Not last year, but maybe the year before that, or the one before that.
I don't
Sometime
think
in the last 5 years, I've gone apple picking.
I think you're an autumn poser. I don't think you've ever actually
Look,
been.
I told you that I used to not be a fan, but now I'm the king of autumn, so I like it. Although I will say that I'm of two minds about apple picking because I like that I get to pick the apples. And I
Right.
don't mean physically pick them from the tree. I mean choose the apples that I want. Because
Wait,
as you heard earlier, I'm very particular about the size of apples. So if I'm going there, I'm like, I'm going to make some candy apples. I'm going to get the right
You've
size.
never made candy apples, Tom. This is all theoretical.
I've made candy apples before.
When?
I've made them a few times. You can buy them the kits at the store.
I know one could. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you have.
Yeah, I have. I buy all kinds of things at stores. Number 2, visiting a winery.
I think that's more of a summer thing.
That's not a summer thing, Tim. The
Maybe
fall is
even a
when they're
spring
harvesting the grapes. And they're
Ah.
mashing them up with their feet.
When's the last time you visited a winery?
Maybe 2 summers ago.
With who?
Look, I'm telling you, Tim, that I'm not saying I always was Mr. Fall. I'm saying I'm Mr. Fall now.
You seem to be a guy, Tom, that will post things on social media whenever you do anything interesting.
That's
I've
not
never
true.
seen any winery or candy apples
I
come across
block
the Instagram
you
feed.
from a lot of my Instagram posts
Why would you do that? We're friends.
because I don't want to be, because obviously you keep tabs on all these things. You got a spreadsheet somewhere where you're tracking what Tom has and hasn't done.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, I'm trying to keep my title of it as Autumn Boy, and I know that I knew that this day would come. One day you were going to make a run for my title, and,
I'm
and
not
suddenly
trying to be
decide
Autumn
that
Boy.
you're.
I'm Mr. Fall. I'm a man. I'm not a boy.
We'll see. About
Maybe if you're lucky, one day Autumn Boy can sit on Mr. Fall's shoulder to get
I
some
don't
of the
wanna
good,
do-
to
stop,
get some of the
no.
good apples up top.
Tom, let me ask you this:
Uh,
Is there another way that Autumn Boy might be able to get the apples off the tree?
I don't know, shaking it.
No, is there maybe a tool?
Oh, an apple
You've
picker?
never been fucking apple
the
picking.
apple,
You
yeah, an
liar.
apple picker. The big,
You don't know. You
the
don't
big
know
hand.
Shit.
I do like using the big hand, but I like doing it the old-fashioned way and climbing up the trees myself.
They don't like you to climb the trees.
Well, until I hear a tree tell me not to do it, I don't care what they think. I paid my fee, and I'm gonna climb the trees to get the apples if I want.
Mr. Fall doesn't like a corn maze unless it's properly social distance, but he doesn't care about any other rules.
Right, because I can climb the trees. I'm taking personal responsibility for that. If I fall off, I'm not going to blame the tree unless there was a problem with the tree that caused me to fall.
What's your number one fall activity?
Watching new television shows.
Hell yeah. Now, Tom, here's the thing. That's not going to be, it's going to be slim pickings for you this fall TV season.
there's not that much this fall.
Jeopardy's back,
Yeah.
but that's not what we're talking about.
No, we're talking about brand new. I mean, usually network TV shows, even though
Yeah, season premiere of the Drew Carey show. What day is that this year?
I think it's still on Thursdays. Yeah, that's not going to be happening that much this year. I mean, it is. There are still new shows coming out, mostly on streaming stuff, it seems like. I just saw actually today there was some show. I forget what it was called, but I guess it had its first season last year, and it did well. It was like an ABC show, and it got renewed, but now they just canceled it because they were like, forget it. like we were gonna have by now the second season would be so late that it's not worth it. Which kind of makes sense if the second season of something that was like a moderate hit is airing, a year and a half after the first season. It's like everybody's gonna have forgotten about it.
Yeah, like
Which
the
stinks.
executives are like, I'll probably be fired before this sees the light of day.
Oh, yeah.
Let me funnel that money into a reality show that we can
Yeah, it's something we
that we
can
can-
have people shoot from home right now.
exactly.
Have some show where it's just like people eating hot sauce in their living room, and we put that up on television. I'd watch that if that were coming
Watch
out.
the living room hot sauce show.
So yeah, those are Mr. Fall's top 5 foods and activities for the fall.
Tom, I have some events that I like in the fall. Halloween. Come on. How are you talking about the fall without
that's
mentioning
its
Halloween?
own thing. Halloween's its own season as far as
Guess
I'm
when it
concerned.
happens? It
In the
happens
fall.
in the fall.
Yeah, but in my mind, Halloween outshines the season that it's in.
So you call
like-
yourself Mr. Fall, but you're like, but Halloween's too good for fall.
It's like Beyonce.
You should be Mr. Halloween, Mr. Bones.
Damn, how dare you? Beyonce was in Destiny's Child, Tim. That doesn't mean she's not bigger than Destiny's Child ever was. That's the way Halloween is with the fall.
Yeah, but then you're a Beyonce stan, and you should stop saying that you're a Destiny's Child fan.
You can be both.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. Of course you can. You think most
No.
Beyonce fans don't like Destiny's Child?
No, but most Beyonce fans say the only reason Beyonce was the thing that made Destiny's Child good.
Right. But that still made Destiny's Child good. That might be the way I feel about
But
Halloween in the
if,
fall.
If we're extending that analogy, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
then you would be saying that the fall is only good because Halloween falls in it.
Not only good, but I would say it's one of the big reasons. And look, if Halloween ever decides to leave the fall, sorry, fall, I'm going where Halloween goes.
Wow, taking its talents to when else could it be? The spring, I think, is the only other time. But the
It
spring
can
is
be
not.
any time.
No, because like
You ever
the
hear
winter.
of a little movie called The Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim?
Mm,
You have all those tattoos and costumes that you wear of
That's
Jack
true.
Skellington.
we got a lot of blacklight posters.
Yeah, every Christmas, it's like, oh, what should I get you for Christmas, Tim? And you're like, more gift cards to Hot Topic, please. I need to finish my Jack Skellington collection.
Thanksgiving falls
Yeah.
in the fall.
Also a very good holiday.
You know what I love, Tom? The New York City Marathon.
Yeah, we used to live in an apartment together that the marathon didn't go through our apartment, but it went through a street right off our apartment. That was always fun to watch.
Yeah. I think I recently moved, and I think the marathon goes right up my street, but we have no goddamn marathon this year, so I don't even know if that's actually true.
Yeah. Well,
Also, it kind of sucks when you can't cross the street for like 6 hours because there's a bunch of runners.
yeah.
But also, like, it sucks that I won't get to run it this year.
Yeah, that's the reason why. You were all ready otherwise. Was it this year that you bet me, $10,000 that you would be running the marathon?
Well, I can't now, Tom. The marathon isn't happening. Looks like you owe me $10,000 on a technicality.
One of your famous $10,000 bets where I was like, you're not going to run the marathon. You're like, I'll put you $10,000. I'm going to run the marathon.
Tom, I'd be running the marathon if there was a marathon. I'm
No,
sorry.
If anything, I'd win on a technicality, not you.
What I said is that I'll be running in the next New York City Marathon.
No, that's not what you. We'll have to go back and listen to the tape.
Let's re-up the bet. 2021.
Double or nothing.
Double or nothing. $20,000. I would run a fucking marathon if I was going to lose $20,000.
Yeah.
I'd run it with no training. Be the last guy they'd be sweeping up at the end.
Yeah, and you'd be like, that's fine. I got $20,000. I walked
Yeah.
a marathon.
Yeah.
I have a question along those lines after the plugs for you. Would you
All right.
do this?
Stay tuned after the plugs. Tom's got a question.
Our website, ccgt.com. You want to support the show, check out our sponsors. Also, check out patreon.com/complete guide for books and podcasts. This week, we're starting Sweet Valley High. I am reading 2 books, the first of which is called A Date with a Werewolf on Books and Podcasts. I'll be telling Tim all about what's going on with Jessica and Elizabeth, the Sweet Valley High twins.
Twins.
Yep.
You you always walk around going, and twins.
I knew you were going to make that joke. And that's like, once again, a very outdated reference.
Nah, I just saw it on Instagram last week.
You can follow us on Instagram
Hey, Tom. What's up? Right?
at TCGTE on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter at Complete Guide. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim, but I don't really post anything.
You don't post when you're out apple picking?
No, I don't. I don't need to broadcast everything I do to everybody.
I do. I just make sure
People.
certain people are blocked.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah, you.
Am I in your... We've talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes when you're clicking through the Instagram stories and you see like that green circle that
The close friend circle.
Yeah, and there's some people that's like, you put me on your close friends list? Jeez.
Yeah, I don't feel that way, Tim.
I didn't put you on my close friends list.
I know a lot of people like me a lot and consider me close friends, and I value that. I'm not some misanthrope.
I mean, you are a misanthrope.
Tim, I was reading a thing earlier today about it's on theverge.com about TikTok stars. Now TikTok
Tom Bergeron's site?
not theverge.com. Tim, he's not, this is the first season of Dancing with the Stars without him.
Yeah,
and they
he's
got
clapping back a lot.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
At Dancing with the Stars?
Who's the host?
Tyra Banks.
Yeah, he claps back at her sometimes.
Oh, really? In
Yeah.
what way?
She was wearing some sort of, I forget, like sequined something
Uh-huh.
in a promo for it that she posted, and then he recreated it
Uh-huh.
and was just like, I still got it or something. Something like, I don't know. I think he was actually legitimately pissed the way that they let him go from that show. I love Tom Bergeron.
Oh yeah, I do too. I think he was pissed. I mean, I don't know if I would like take it out on Tyra Banks. I don't know. I mean,
I think she
she had something to do with it.
Yeah, I think it was like like she's like executive producer now. I think
Oh,
she
I
came in and
see.
like engineered a takeover.
A coup. A Dancing
A
with the
coup.
Stars coup.
I mean, that
Um,
show is poison anyway. It's like, let's find the worst people on earth to.
well, that was part of the problem that he like publicly like was like, oh, I don't like that Sean Spicer is on this show, and like spoke out against it. And I think
But he did it in the most even-handed way to just be like, we shouldn't have anybody who's
Right.
politically polarizing, instead of being like, we shouldn't have explicitly these ghouls.
yeah, I mean, he is liberal, and I think that was him being like just trying to be like, hey, here's something I think everybody could agree with. You're not watching this to see politicians. Like, we shouldn't do that.
Right. Guess
Anyway,
what? We are. We love it.
but I
We
did,
love you, Sean Spicer.
I did see that fans of the show are not happy with Tyra Banks, that they miss the Burge, and who wouldn't?
I miss him. I'm not happy with Alfonso Ribeiro on freaking
AFV.
AFV.
Anyway,
he was a nice man.
on TheVerge.com, you said he smelled nice.
He smelled great.
On TheVerge.com, they had, I'm sure Tom Bergeron smells good too, though.
Yeah, but it's more of a musk.
Yeah. Story about TikTok stars. Now, it's a new social network. You've probably never heard of it before. But them going.
Why don't you bow down to the Emperor of China, Tom?
they about TikTok stars that are also on OnlyFans.com. You know what that is?
That's pornography?
Yeah, I mean it's basically Patreon for sex workers.
Nice, okay.
I mean, I don't think you have to be a sex worker to be on there. In fact, I'm sure you don't. But that's what most of the top earners are there.
Okay.
And they profiled this one woman who started getting big on TikTok, doing videos where she pretended to be a puppy, and then she moved to OnlyFans, and it's like, oh, not just like cute, it's like, oh, she was a bad puppy and peed on the floor, and now she has to be put in her cage. And I don't know if she like peed on the floor in the video. I don't think so, and I don't even know if she's like naked or whatever. But anyway, that's what it is. But they kind of buried the lead in that she makes 6 figures a month doing this.
Wow.
What?
Pissing on the floor.
Not pissing on the floor, just being scolded for pissing on the floor, which honestly is worse. I'd rather put up a video of me peeing on the floor than a video of somebody scolding me for peeing on the floor. But then I was like, wow, that's crazy. But then I was like, I don't think I would take $1 million a year to be famous as like the person being a puppy on a porn site.
Was this
But
the question you wanted to ask me after the
well,
plug?
but I would do it for $5 million a year. What is your price?
To be scolded by whom?
A man, an off-camera man.
Would it be...
And not just one time. I'm saying to be like a content creator who creates videos where you pretend you're a puppy.
How many hours a day would I devote to this?
It would be like your full-time job.
Tom, I'd like to say that seems easy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's take that out of it. Let's say it's easy. So it's not
Yeah.
a question of how hard it is.
no. Yeah, it does seem, and I think if you asked me this at a different point in my life, I'd be like, it sounds easy. I don't want to put in a lot of effort. Yeah, like I don't know. I'll do it for
$5,000 a year.
Yeah, exactly. But I put a high price on my believe it or not, listeners of the show, I put a high price on my dignity.
And now, what would you consider a high price?
Pay no attention to the ad reads I ever do, but I don't know. You know what? I think that's just not the life I'd want to lead. I think maybe like $5 million.
Okay. All right. So we're both on board. $5 million.
Yeah.
If anybody
Yeah,
out there
40 hours a week pretending to be a puppy for scumbags to scold me.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1 million.
Well, if anybody out there is looking to hire two bad puppies and they've got millions of dollars, you now know our price.
Tom, we didn't talk about sweaters.
No, I don't like sweaters.
Ooh, Mr. Fall doesn't like sweaters?
Nope.
Looks like Autumn Boy's got the edge here. Sound off in the comments.
There aren't comments. I've tried to tell you that a million times. Anyway.
Sound off in the comments.
That's all for this week. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Did you just fart?
I did pick it up. Whoops. All right, it's not that funny.
That was a HeadGum podcast.